Hey there, Boots Owen here. Another day, another Henry. Found it on the road last week sometime. HVR 160-11. Feels smaller than another Henry, a normal Henry, I would say. No cable, so that's the first thing. But he has his smiley, attractive little Henry face, and luckily I was able to find a cable somewhere else. This one came off a Vax washing machine thing. Smallish cable, but if it came off the washing machine, it's not washing machine, Vax carpet cleaning machine. If it's got the same, it's probably the Vax probably has a higher wattage, so I'd be happy to just bung this cable onto it now. Torx screws, which is the bane of our lives. Let's put that there. I got some new drills for an e-bike project, so let's see if they work as screwdrivers. Okay, screw. Let's try that. That doesn't bloody work. Right, drill. This drill was 20 quid. From Aldi, the batteries cost more than the drill. I don't think I need to take out the center ones. I'm taking out one of them. I'll leave it for now. I might need to get in later. So there we go. Top shroud will pop off, and the little thing for this dealie will come off. I've not seen screws on top like this before. There's the carousel. There's the cord cut somehow. Let's have a look. Everything seems pretty clean. It does feel smaller than a Henry normally feels. I could try stripping those cables back and just putting a strip connector on it first to energize it. It's got a lot of kind of pet hair in here, so I'm going to give it a dose of the other Henry. I think these are like a mini Henry, maybe. I don't know about that either. This drill is significantly heavier than the Makitas that I like. So far, it's got the same screws, which is convenient. And same screws again, Torx bits. Let's neutral and live are identified, so let's get in here. Oh, I probably don't need to do it the whole way. Okay, the cable can go. It has crimp-on ends, if you can see, but we won't be putting them back on. And so, with this Vax cable, how much of the end, about that much, is to be stripped. So run over it with a Stanley knife and give it a trim. Use my cable strippers, 1 and 2. So I still don't know if it works. Maybe it doesn't. Could be an issue with the switch. Could be an issue with anything really. So neutral goes in like that. Let's put a little bit of a hook on the end of it. Maybe you can see it now. Oh, come on, what's going on? Okay, it's good and fast. And this one can come in here. It does have a strong pet flavor off it, this machine. Okay, and will it be full of old pet hair? Put that on there. This is not how you normally do it. Turn that off. Plug this in over here somewhere. So there could also be a fault with the cable because I don't know where it came from. Let's hold that down. No, this down. Let's hold that down. Nada. Okay, that's a start. Is the indicator light? The indicator light's on. See that flickering? Means there's power coming to here, so it's probably a switch issue. Turn that off. I think I was going to order some switches. Well, we'll put this back together actually, because I know that that's working now. I think it is anyways. So follow the path for the cable. It's a little path with arrows. Shows you how to put it in, and then put the lid on. So that's our carousel back together. No, it's not, because somebody forgot to put this guy on. How do we know it's working anyways? Put that guy on with the cable. So this goes on this way, I believe. Give these a twist once more. For no particular reason, I'll do the neutral first. So I think this is a newer Henry than the ones I normally deal with. But they're a great little machine. Okay, I'm glad I remembered that, because that's a pain when you put it all back together and you're looking at it going, oh, we've got to do it again. There is a distinct petty smell of this. Smell of pet. I've lost a screw. There it is. Right, that's the carousel taken care of. So then next up is in here to the switch. And I guess we're still plugged in, but we're not live. Let's put that back on. Let's go live again. Live. Let's get a multimeter and see if it's the motor or the switch. So if it's the switch, we should be getting power to here. And we are. If the switch works, we should be getting power to here. That's not a strange number. And it looks like we are. It's a bit fussy. That smells like motor to me. Looks like the switch might be working. So then I have to take out, power off. I have to take out some more screws beneath. That's greasy up on top there. I don't like that slapping noise off that drill. A bit weird. Could be anything wrong with this, you know. Might not even be a motor in it. Feels like it is though. Oh dear, okay. Certainly moisture was an issue once upon a time. And let's leave it like this. Let's put this back on here. This motor might be knocked out. Power's back on, power's on up on top. Let's just see if it's coming to here, because if it is, then it's a motor fault. And the amount of rust you can see on this motor suggests to me that .208, it's a strange voltage. 2 I almost had it there. Bollocks. It's very strange. It keeps jumping around everywhere. 1 volt is not right. Come on. 230. Right. So there is a voltage getting to there. Could be corroded spade connectors. Don't know. This may have been left. There's no moisture in it though. That's what's a bit peculiar. Right. Take the power's off. That's gone. I'm gonna get this guy here off. Power is off. Right. It does smell. Oh dear. That's come asunder. Right. That's come asunder. I don't know about that. There. Right. I think this motor is just beyond it. I might just keep this guy for spares. Let's see what these brushes are doing. Like the big cloud of rust up on top here where I'm unscrewing these doesn't really bode well for this little motor. I might have a spare motor. Don't know. I don't know this model. I've never taken one of these apart before. This shape of a Henry. That should pull up and out because there's a connector, spade connector thing there. But so far I've broken one of the connectors off, so there we go. No, it's got a decent brush in it. That side leastways. There's a motor housing. Oh, that's seized solid. Oh, this thing's just cocked. If it's seized solid, it's not necessarily the end of the world, right? So take that up like that. It's not too bad. Take this down. Bits of straw and stuff in there. The bearings are seized. I'll have a look for another motor. They're all hiding behind things. I'm gonna have to be a deep look. The commutator bar looks really clean, so it's just seized. I don't think it's burnt out. It's bizarre. So what appears as 2 seconds on a camera sometimes is a lot longer in real life. Would that do it? It's hard to know. They've all different kinds of rubber fittings. I don't write down. These aren't out of Henry's, you see. But I have a feeling that they work because that's why I kept them. So let's see. Would that fit there? It wouldn't fit right, but that one's not great either. That one would fit. Can the top go back on? It's got welded connectors of some description. They're kind of molded. Let's see. This is a little power control unit from I don't know what type of one. How are these held on? I'll bite the bullet. I think I have one from a much bigger Henry in here. I have every confidence that it won't fit. It's a huge double one from a Henry. Another little one here. This one might do it as well. It's more squat. No, you see, it's too big. That's the whole issue you're dealing with here, right? So that one go there, and then setting aside these cables. Yes, it won't fit because the brush thing. Now, it might. So this one just went right down to the bottom actually. So it's meant to grip on the bottom. So if we could find a way to get it over that. It's not far off it. Did you wiggle it in? Not really. Let's keep that as a prospective candidate. Got one with a Dyson DC41. That looks promising. Again, it's too big. And this one also has a power controller. And it looks about right. It might fit. Now it's got spade connectors, which is kind of handy. So let's try easing them out. It's got the ones that have that little tab on them to make them difficult to remove for people with big fat fingers. There we go. Well, this won't fit. It looks a lot bigger in terms of height. Not to say it won't fit. It won't fit easily. It won't fit. It's too high, you see. I haven't kept very many vacuum cleaner motors because they're just, that one's the best candidate really. I think if I could get it to fit, what does it say? 1200 watts. Whew, that's a lot more than what was in it. That'd be an interesting one. Right, get out of here, you guys. If we could make that fit, make for a pretty interesting Henry. Okay, let's put that in there. Let's try and figure out this. I think if I take one side, it won't really slide over unless I'm doing it wrong. It's that way. Okay. I need to get these off one way or the other. I just need to spade connect it on somehow. So how are they held on? I imagine they're soldered, but I don't know. Oh, they're soldered all right. Excellent. That's what you don't want to see. It's a good connection, however, but not easy for me to deal with. And what was in the Henry? Henry. Little spade connectors. So if I desoldered those, they might click in. More work. What's the point? What is the point? Or should I just leave it? I don't think... So this has a plastic thing here. I don't think it's going to grip right. This one goes down and then grips all around. I think I'm going to destroy the backing. And I don't think it's going to go. So what I'm going to do, I think, is diagnose that the motor is dead. What I can try is one more trick. This one I haven't seen before. It's got screws all around. Maybe let's just try and get the motor apart. I would rather, although I've killed something, didn't I? Something came out of there. I'd have to try and revive that. These never want to come off. That one's staked over. See, like this. The plastic on these is kind of a, what I would call phenolic. It's really hard and it snaps and flakes and does all sorts of things. The fact that it's corroded won't help this at all. Let's try it with a socket. 13. That's turning it. Oh, it sounds rotten. Try it the other way. It's so tight that... Oh, you know what? I'm loosening it. What's turning? Because it's not spinning the end of the shaft here. Oh, it is now. Okay. It's spinning the bearing in a housing. It is turning it. Very strange. It's very tight. Kind of can't be bothered. Kind of running out of steam on this one. And it stinks. You see, you can't smell that, but it smells like wet animals. So maybe someone's vacuumed up some wet animals with it. See, it's weird. It's not a brushes issue. They're quite happy. It's a bearings issue. So that's what makes me think the motor's probably fine if I could tap that off. But I kind of know that it's trouble. Trouble. It's hard to hold something and tap. You can't clamp this because you just snap it. You can't pry it out. So you gotta hold it and then tap that out. So now that I've cut the cables on that other motor, that's the way that is. So let's put this here. It's an awful old thing. Get that. Filthy, don't you know? What do you know? It's moving. It's not. If the spindle isn't off the end, it's probably no good. But if the nut isn't off the end, I mean, it's moving all right though. So you've gone through the 7 stages here of Henry repair. Not wanting to. Well, wanting to. Ow, it's sore. Looks like we're getting it off, you know. In the past, I've tried this and it's been an absolute torture. They just don't want to come off. But this one, it's doing something. Right, okay, so that's all covered in crap, but that's not the problem. So now we've got this thing here. Very sharp. Oh, it's metal, okay. And this ducting thing here. So the metal was only held on by the little staked over bits. The ducting was held on by the screws. So to get in, I really need to get in here, and this has a looks like a left-hand thread, so I need to tighten it to get it off. It's pretty tight. It's going to shred my hand if I touch it. And the other thing is it might warp as well, so put a blanket around it or a cloth. There we go, that's it. How did I know it was a right-handed thread? I just looked at it, that's all I did. Doesn't mean it's going to come off at all. Oh, it does. Okay, even better. Now, another washer. Leave that one, that's a special cup-shaped thing. And this should come off. Let's see if we can't snap it off. Put my hand on that side and just trying to jimmy it off. There's rust in the center. Oh, it caught me thumb. Aye. That's sore. Whoops, sorry camera. Now that's off. Right, so that's one of the bearings. That one's positively seized, but the one on the back is positively okay. So could I get this bearing off? Why is that stuck in that bearing? Tappy tap again. That's spinning grand there, but this is what was stuck. And it was probably turning within that housing. Who bothers with this kind of nonsense? Bearing pullers to the rescue. Something fell over. So this is one that I broke and mended with mending plates on each side. It's Quite a natty little one if it would do here, right? I'm obviously not in the tidiest of positions here. I'm not worried about damaging this bearing because as far as I'm concerned it's dead. That's step number one, or point number one. It's moving. So then I have to see if I have a spare bearing for it, which I might do. That was easy. Everything's easy so far. Oh god, look at that. Bit of wire brushing to see what number it is. I'm in way deeper than I wanted to be, but that's kind of where I am now. Oh, my eyes. Try the other side. Thailand, I can see. NMB. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I can see it cleaner on the screen, actually. 60 something. It's written here. I'll give it another rub. Well, I can't see that for nothing. But I have a box of old bearings and new. A selection of little ones. Hoping. You never know. You really never know what'll be in here. Like there's hundreds, thousands of different types of bearings, but sometimes if you're lucky, like, is that it? That might be it. What's that? These are rubber shielded ones, which are not what's in it, but oh no, it's steel. That looks really good. What size is that? 608 ZZ, this one, right? Get your eyes on. Oh, 608 ZZ. When you're looking for something, you can see it. So just on this side here, it says 60, come back. 608Z. What do you know? Brand new replacement parts in stock. That is amazing. Right, tidy up. Cool. This is amazing. So even if I get it back together, I've still got that dud spade connector. Now, how can I push this on here? Well, like that is the answer. Is that correct? What's the story? It's the same bloody thing, I think. Went on remarkably easy, however. Nevertheless. Well, I see it's not as stiff as the old one, that's for sure. Right, this thing. I could wash it, but I don't know that I will. Looks like it'll go any old way. So put that in. Give it a wiggle and a snap. Okay, and then it had this washer, which appears to hold the bearing as much as anything as well. Or should I screw this back together now? Seems to be the same screws throughout. This is not the party I thought I was going to today. I thought this is going to be a standard Henry cable replacement, but I guess the way it is with these things, the cable was taken off after the fact. The thing being broken was one issue. I could replace that other bearing, but it doesn't seem like there's any issue with it at all. Now, I'm more than half an hour into this job. I'll probably have it together within an hour. Would anybody in their right mind do this if it wasn't a hobby? That's what I've realized recently, is there is a difference between a hobby and the real world. Now, tightening this, how am I going to do that? Try to loosen it off to tighten it, because it's the left-hand thread. spinning on the other end now. I don't know how to deal with that. Try to tap it in the shut. It is gripping it now. Okay, so let's get a cloth around it. Slicing and dicing on my fingers. That's about as tight as it was, using that old torque wrench thing. Now I'll give this a brush out. I've just realized why my drill is so heavy, this Ferrex drill. It's because I bought the 40-volt batteries, the double strength batteries. That's why it's heavy. Ta-da. Right, try and line it up with where it was and just squeeze it back on by hand if I can. I gave it a brush out, nothing too major. Now, do you think it'll run if I... Oh dear, why is that stiff? Oh, that ain't right. Well, what are you going to do? Wasted a bearing on it now. I'm not going back in to get it back out again. Tappy tap, tap, tap that back on. That's that. Now, brushes. And this is where I'm missing a thing from, I think. Brushes first, one at a time. You go in and then click down, I'm guessing. Easy. Just like that. Careful. It's still pretty grim, but you see, once you hide it back in the machine, it doesn't really matter if it's working. Like, what are you going to get for a machine like this? 30 quid? If I add on a kit, if I'm going to sell it, what do they call those kits? Hoses and thingies kit. Might get a bit more. Easy, easy. The hammer's way too big for this game. Right. So, how to replace the bearing? If you wanted to do the other bearings, you'd just smash this out from the other end. Smash this out from this end. Smash out that rotor from this end. And replace the bearings on this end as well. The table's a mess. It's stiff for no apparent reason. Could be anything in there, a bit stiff, right? To energize it, I need to put power from here to here, and this one I have broken. Very strange now. How does that look? How's it meant to look? There's a spade connector sticking up. How did this guy look over here? Oh, okay, there's nothing. Have I lost it? Did I lose the little devil? There it is. Oh yeah, that's corroded away. That's what's going on there. So that was presumably in there to that and down like that. Like that. Now, I don't know if that's the same as this. To bung a wire onto it. Kind of back to wasting my time again. So this one's got an armature winding going to it and it looks okay. And there's another winding here from the armature to the brush. Then the brother brush goes this armature. So this one comes out here and there should be an armature coming out the other side. I don't understand what this fellow here is for. So could I pull it off? Maybe? Where is it even going? Can't make it more broken, can I? I'm sure this plastic's probably here to stop it arcing. Now, what's this doing? Ah, it could be a little temperature dealy. thermal cutout fellow. It's thermally cut out anyways, I'll tell you that. Right, so there is a thermal cutout probably in here, and it is most certainly thermally cut. Right, let's have a... So that's your autopsy there. This is thermally cut out by the looks of things. Question is, do I fix it now? Because if there's a known fault like this, I definitely can't sell it unless I fix it properly. And I don't really want to sell it, but... Yeah, that's the same as on a washing machine motor. Okay, so that would have had this going in and out of it like that. Something like that. Wow, okay, so we're learning today. I do like learning. There's some numbers. 3MP 1990. No, 3MP1 3990 26V 9CZ. Yeah, it's dead. Right. But that's just a bypass. So if I put that and that, it'll run without the thing, I think. Let's put that back on there. Let's put this... Which way does this go? This sits into this thing over here. No, that's the wrong... That's off that motor. So this one sits in here somehow. Then this sits this way, maybe? Let's try it like that. The other way up, perhaps, like that. I'm guessing that that bin goes there, but I think it does. Then you put this one here, and you attach one of these to... Which way is this going to go? If that's going to go like that, attach one of these like this. You can't see that maybe. I'm just putting spade connectors back on. Ignoring the fact that there is no thermal cutout in there anymore. And I'll put this carousel back in. I'll put this cover back on. The best thing for me to have done here would have been to abandon it, kept the light, kept the switch, thrown the rest away. But I'm just not that kind of person. And this little plastic thing, we'll get the truth in a minute, and then you can tell me in the comments what you think I should do with it, because I have a feeling I might keep it in my shed and not sell it on. It's got no thermal cutout, you see. It's a safety feature that's missing, which I don't really fancy. I don't really fancy selling it or even giving it to somebody, really. Let's tighten that in there. Got some screws here, 7 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you don't have a camera in your way, these things can be a lot easier. Kind of bring trouble on yourself, right? Cord going. Oh, sugar, we're back. Plugged in. I'm going to take it outside in case it either arcs and sparks or blows a load of dust. I'm really expecting that to happen. In case it blows a load of dust out. So let's go outside and see. Okay, red light's on, and oh bollocks. Nothing. Not a sausage. Could be burnt out inside. Could be a dud motor. That's a shame. Have I done something wrong? I don't think so. Well, still how you replace the bearing. I don't really want to give up on this because I've put a bit of time into it. So the way to deal with that is put even more time into it. Hotwire it. Let's see if I can get that on there and this on here. Try and keep that earth away from everything somehow. And then put it into a vise. Without crushing it. And then I'll just plug it in. And it might smoke, maybe. Or it might make a load of dust, maybe. Rock and roll. Nothing. Could be burnt out, you see. Something pokey. I don't see anything. Shouldn't touch the vise because the bloody thing could be live in it. I don't see anything, so I presume there's no power going through the correct path in the motor. So back to the bench. And let's look for continuity. It's just more stuff and it still stinks of dog. And I've lost my multimeter. It's hidden here somewhere. Right. Resistance. Something like that. You can see that. I can see that. Let's calm down a bit better. Right. Let's get these connectors off. It could have failed. You know, the motor could be failed. That's a real possibility. Brush to brush. Something going on there. Here to here. Yeah, okay, so there's nothing going between one end of the motor and another. It didn't fuse the house or anything. Okay, so from this side of this winding to this side, let's see about that. Nothing. Then from this winding over here to this side of this winding. Yeah, so we're getting something on that side. We're getting something across the brushes. We're getting nothing from this brush to this connector. So it could be burnt out. Well, that's not the side where the thermal sensor was. Now, has it come astray? See, they're varnished wires, so could be a poor connection on the spade connectors, but I'm getting nothing there. So that winding is cooked. Unless, of course, it isn't. It doesn't look cooked. I'm kind of in too far to quit. You got to remember, I've put in a bearing that cost me about 50 pence, so let's wiggle this off. Now, from here to here should have something, but it doesn't, so let's wiggle this little fellow out. Pop. Now, that's all covered in crumbs, so let's find this wire here. Let's see if we can get a reading on the end of that to here. Nope. Can you see what I'm doing there? So there's a winding here. It should be down into this thing. I don't want to break this apart again. See, all that green there doesn't fill me with confidence. Don't want to go in and fish my bearing back out again, kinda. Sure, you might as well watch that too, hey? Screwdriver, hammer. That's the rotor out. Bearing is crusty but free. I think that one's okay. It smells like dog. Oh, that's spring. That must have been in behind the motor, behind the bearing. Oh, they're very, very tight. Extremely tight. Try tightening them first. Sometimes, there we go. Yeah, if you tighten something a little bit first, it doesn't loosen it, but it's instead of, when you're trying to loosen it, the head pops out, then you've stuck yourself. Whereas if you try tightening it first, it loosens it and tightens it in a bit, and loosens the grip on the screw, because you see there's rust on that screw there. It loosens that off. Now, come on out. No, this way. There we go. Loose. With a tappy tap tap and rusty rust. So that side is okay. And this side is the one, I presume, that's not. So we're getting nothing from it. Let's try getting something. If I try scraping this wire off with a bit of a knife, because there's varnish on these wires. Scrape that off. It's kind of holding out that it was the connectors that were bad, but no. So for some reason, this winding here is just cut. Well, you know, be interesting to see what's really going on. Pull that off, pull this off. I've broken that, so I could always put it over there if I could get it working, but I think we're working ourselves apart here now. This will take a minute. Once you get a few of them off, what you do is you pass it back and down, pass it back and down, pass it back and down. However 100 windings there are in here, you got to keep doing it, but what I'm hoping to do is find a tear in the middle. So I'm passing it from one side, passing it from the other, and lifting it off. You see there's a hook here, lifting it off. I'm never going to rewind this, it's not worth it. You could buy a new motor for it. Looks a lot ropier on the inside, and if that thermal thing had blown out, then there must have been a bit of heat somewhere in here. And it stinks of dog. I think I'll throw the filters into a washing machine with some rags. If I want to save them, maybe I should just bin them. Keep the switches and the bodywork for spares, because what's happened is I think I have another machine that'll benefit from that handle and that kind of thing, you know, so it's not a loss. There's no loss in this, right? It's getting tighter, it's getting rustier as I go in. How long have I been at this now? Just unwinding for 6 minutes. Like, we lament the fact that things don't get repaired anymore, but you know, if this is what it is and you're paying somebody to unwind wire for 6 minutes, and then we're getting brittle here, getting tighter, and it might just be corroded. It could be. See what happens. We're nearly there. There's 20 more runs to go. My hands are gone green. Real dirty green. Oh, there we go. Broken. I lost the end. There it is. Okay, so put that there. Try and keep going. Where's my scribe? Here it is. So that was never going to work, hey? Oh, there's loads of them broke now in there, look. Okay, so there's another one broke. That was just the tail end of the connector on that side. Yeah, look, they're all broken there. Almost. There's 1 or 2 or 3 left. cooked. Absolutely cooked. Yeah, it's just fallen into pieces. So it is. Yep. Would have to be at the inside rather than the outside, wouldn't it? So, an attempted repair. I don't even need to test that now. I can see that it's fallen into 30 pieces. An attempted repair, a bit of hair wire here. An autopsy of what's wrong. It obviously went on fire. Save the brushes, throw out everything else. Questions or comments at this end, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.